My father was a petty officer in the Navy, so he was a chief engineer, fitter and turner by trade. So I grew up with it from birth, basically. It was all, he was constantly had engines and motorbikes and a lathe in the garage. So yeah, I've pretty much grown with it since I was a kid. I remember going on a submarine when he was in the submariners, and going in the engine rooms and looking around the engine rooms in the big gas turbine engines, electrical, and they got lathes and milling machines, and you're talking, they go, what happens if it breaks? And you say, well, we have to make it. And I'm thinking, well, if you're stuck in the middle of 1,000 miles from nowhere and you haven't got the bit, you have to make it. And I thought, well, that's pretty amazing.
I've always enjoyed, again, probably through growing up literally around seeing people make things in the workshop. I've grown up around seeing things being made and felt that is a key part of our economy. And at school, I was always the one who was down in the metal workshop making things out of hours, that kind of stuff.
I remember I have graphic memories of going to work at Plessey in Titchfield with my father, who was a designer and a manufacturer of productionized machinery, and getting involved with the guys in the workshop to temper materials, harden materials, understanding the difference between ferrite and non-ferrous materials and everything that went with that. And from an early age, I would say, 10 years old, I began to get an unhealthy interest in that type of thing. There's one incident that relates to that, and that was making a screwdriver. I was about 10 years old, and I was given a bit of material to shape into a normal flat bladed screwdriver, and then asked to use it afterwards, and it fractured. It was absolutely no good. So I was then posed the question, why do you think it did that? And then how could you change that? And would you like to see how we really do that?